Welcome you to Porch Talk. This is your host, Alan, and this is an Untapped Vinyl. I got my right-hand man to my left, Monk.
Yes, Monk.
And we always talk about the man in the ghost chair on third. We got Taylor Hollingsworth with us. Man, Taylor, how you doing?
Man, I'm great. I'm so glad to be with y'all.
Yeah, man, it's good to finally have you back on with us. I guess last time we were together was at Druid City
At the
Brewing
brewery, yeah.
in the tap.
Yeah. That's been a while.
That's a long time. That was prior to my stroke. So yeah, that's been at least a year and a half ago.
And that was
yeah. During the Blip show.
That was the first Blip show at Druid City, I want to say.
Yeah.
Seems like forever.
If we might have only played there one time, or no, we did come back.
Played the new room too.
Yeah, Sweet Dog thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The new. I forget those were different places. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's up with the Blips? Because you are like the busiest man in music that I know. But
yeah,
new Blips music coming. I've been loving what you guys have put out. 3 singles so far.
So there's a third. So we've done 3 singles so far. Have we done?
It's 3 singles. 3 singles, I believe. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you're right. 3 singles so far, and we do have one more single. I think maybe it's coming out real soon. I know is it the Big Takeover or something like that? Is that the name of that magazine? They're premiering it. So
awesome.
We're waiting. You know, when you have someone premiere it, you gotta let them have it for that day, and then you can put it out the next day.
Yeah.
So
far, she still shouts, "Stay Up" and "Who Took My Baby Away."
Yeah. So, and those are all. I love all 3 of them, and I love this next one too. The next one's probably my personal favorite, maybe song on the record. Everybody wanted to hold it. Well, not everybody, but some of the guys wanted to hold it later because they, some feel it's too similar to Inside Out.
Oh.
So they didn't want to push it as the first single, just like another Inside Out, because that was the single for the last record, the main single. But we don't really have main singles. I mean, we're too small for that. That's just the one that happened to be the one people played the most. So that our singles really are just whatever song the DJs all decide to play the most.
Yeah, because I think Inside Out was the one on Indies Only. That was the main song.
Played Inside Out. Yeah. You were one of the first DJs to probably play it.
That's awesome, man. I like that title. Huh?
I'm pretty sure you were at least like one of them,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
little Steven started playing it all real early on, and he wore it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think he still plays it. I don't know.
Did y'all finally talk? I think I've heard his voice on on some of these new tracks. Y'all finally talk Will Stewart into singing?
Yeah, man, we got 2 Will Stewart songs on this record.
Awesome.
So not just talked him into doing one, talked him into doing 2.
What's that process like, Taylor? I mean, each of y'all are so creative and have your own projects. Like, how does that work when y'all come together?
Kind of in different ways. Like, I guess at this point, it's kind of turning into where we just each bring our own songs to the table, and then the other guys will learn them. But, sometimes, and like right at first, it was like, I might just bring like a riff, or like a part and be like, somebody else, what would go along with this, and, I mean, it comes together real fast. We don't really, spend a whole lot of time worrying about it. We're not trying to be complicated. We just want to have fun, simple rock and roll, and we've all been doing it for so long. It does not take long for one of us to be like, here's something I've had in my vault for a little while, and turn that into something or whatever,
Yeah, it's something we kind of talked about last night with him. was the 6 degrees of Dexatines, and just having that real traditional rock and roll sound, that Southern rock.
Yeah, and verbena too. Yeah, you know, I would say verbena. For me, what brought me in to that rock and roll sound from that was local was Souls for Sale from verbena and the Dexatines, the first album, the self-titled, the headphones on the front.
Yeah.
We always just called it the headphones album.
Yeah, that's what Ham referred to it as last night.
Yeah. Those two were not, you know, they really knocked me out when I was young. So then I got to be in both of the bands. So I was just like a spoiled little guitar player that kept getting in all the cool bands. Probably every guitar player in town hated me, you know.
Do you have like a tally, a number of the amount of recordings you've been on?
No way.
Yeah, I've thought about it before. It's like, you know, you could do a whole Taylor Hollingsworth playlist if I wanted to on Spotify of just bands you've been with, bands you even cover songs of yours that people have done or something, you know?
Yeah, Brian Teasley, the owner of Saturn, he mentioned one day when I was getting coffee in the coffee shop about a holiday show. He was like, you could do a whole Taylor night of all your different bands and for like a Christmas show or, you know, some kind of. I always try to, you know, like if I'm gonna do like a ticketed actual show, I love doing them around the holidays because all my old friends are back in town. You know, everybody's back around that don't live here anymore, and they're like, you know, everybody wants to get together. So it's a great night to have a rock show. So that's why we got the Blips one coming up December 22nd, the Friday right before Christmas.
And that'll be at Saturn?
Yeah, album release show. Y'all should come, man. Y'all should come.
Yeah, I think you guys did a New Year's show last year at the Firehouse. Was it New Year's show?
We might have.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we had one. Were you at the show you're talking about?
No, I was trying to make it to the show and never made it. So
okay, well there was one we were going to do there, and we had a cool poster made, and it was like going to be a big thing. We were really pumping it up, you know, and it might have been when COVID happened or something, but I guess it must have been COVID because the show got canceled and never happened. So I wonder if that might be the same.
It was sometime around Christmas and New Year's. I remember sometime around then. I don't think it was directly on New Year's Eve or anything like that.
Yeah, that probably is that same one that never happened.
Yeah.
I think we've only played at the Firehouse one time, where the show happened, and that was with Country Westerns from Nashville. They're really good. They actually kind of smoked us that day. I fucking hate getting smoked, man.
Who all is in Country Western?
Man, I'm real bad with names. I can't tell you their names, but they're super nice guys.
I think he's confused. I think he's thinking about your country and western show.
Oh, no. This is a band called Country Western.
I was talking about that.
They're from Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They're super cool. I mean, I've met them several times. They've played in a bunch of different bands, and like real pretty legit stuff. I'm forgetting their names right now.
All good, man.
But like they're awesome. You know, they crushed that show that night.
Wow.
Very.
We're talking about the Firehouse. How's Eric Wallace holding it down, man? How's all things Firehouse? You still teaching?
Yeah, I teach on Wednesday afternoons. Yeah, the Firehouse is great. I go there, and then my daughter comes with me. So we have a great time. You know, she takes lessons from Eric while I teach my lessons. And then she's like, now, you know, we've got all these kids, like, we're putting them together, playing together. Like, so we've got these little bands have formed, and Eric puts on this, or the Firehouse puts on this thing called the block party. It's like twice a year, where we'll get the kids that want to play in a show. We'll get them all together, we'll form little groups. And so we just had the recent block party at Avondale Park in that little old amphitheater. It's really cool. Had a really big crowd. They combined it with this new event in town called the Get Down that is also super cool. And Seasick Records puts that on. And then some other people too. I'm blanking on like a group of folks, you know. But they combined them, and so Ava's band got asked to play another gig off of that. So
Awesome.
we're all like,
Man,
we're all like
proud
really
daddy moment right there.
excited. Yeah, Eric texted me earlier when I pick up Ava from school. He's like, "Hey man, you need to get her to come up with a band name for their band." You know.
What they call it?
Wow.
We don't have a name yet. We were thinking on it.
Yeah, man. I know you're gonna be proud of her, man.
Oh yeah, man. So proud. Yeah, it's so cool, man. I love it. But you know, and it's just really cool it's just a great environment for kids to be. You know, I would have just loved to have something like that when I was that age.
I needed something like that when I was growing up.
And the cool thing is it's like, so it's a place where kids can feel cool and feel good about themselves, but in a positive environment, you know.
Yeah.
Which, like, I never came by when I was young, you know. It was always bad. I was always in doing bad stuff, you know. And like, I just love that my child gets that, you know, has that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's in our neighborhood, you know, it's close. It's like so cool. Just
well, I think probably growing up around you and your wife and music, is constantly being in the house, you know, that really helped out a whole lot. So whatever you had growing up, you went away from that, created what you got now, and taught that to your daughter, and so it's kind of a twofold thing.
Yeah, she's you know, I mean, she's really, really surrounded by it, but like way more than me and my brother had. I mean, we both became musicians, but you know, our dad tinkered around on a piano, but he wasn't a real musician by any means, and our mom didn't do any music at all. So I know we did have relatives like somewhere in the family lines, I think even on each side, but I really can't remember who. But Ava's like, I mean, her grandparents, you know, Kate's dad is a musician. Kate, her mom, both her parents, all of her uncles and all of her aunts, they're all professional musicians.
Wow.
I mean, all our holidays, like when we get together for the holidays, you know, usually Kate's dad will lead the show on the piano, and like we all sing along, and like, you know, between like our family sing-alongs and also she goes to this Waldorf school. It's very cool school. It's incredible. I wish I could have had that too. They sing like real harmonies in her class. You know, that's like part of their day. They sing every day, and they make art, and they're very creative. She is like nailing harmonies already. Like, just goes right to them, perfect pitch. You know, I mean,
wow.
It's fun. She reminds me of, like, I don't know if I've talked about my brother. I probably have on your podcast, but
you haven't, man.
He's like a real, like, he's like kind of like a genius level musician in his mind, you know. And I remember things that he could do at a young age, you know, like I learned a lot from him. He's younger than me. And I was learning a lot of what I knew I was learning from him. And Ava has all that stuff too. It's like, it's so funny because I'll be watching her do something like repeating a very complex melody from like a movie, the background of a movie. Or she'll pick out, like she picked out the Harry Potter theme song on the piano by herself, and I think she was probably about 6, and that's not an easy melody. It's not like it has like it changes keys in the middle of it, and it has a lot of chromatic notes at times, and like, difficult for an ear to pick out. And
Yeah.
like, so yeah, I mean, man, she's just gonna be killing it one day. It's exciting to watch.
Wow.
It's
I bet it is.
yeah.
Well,
Exciting
man, with your new personal record coming out, which you might have to correct me here. Did you do it all at Dialback, or did you do some of it at your home studio?
Yeah, so I did some of it in my studio. So I did, like, we kind of recorded it mostly live at Dialback, but at the time I didn't have all the words written, so we didn't do the vocals. So all the music we did live at Dialback, and then I took it home and recorded vocals, and then I recorded like some, I would like double the guitar sometimes, or I would add little production value to it, and then and Matt played with me live on bass. So
Awesome.
it was me, my foot mic'd on the floor, my electric guitar. We ran the guitar through like 4 different sounds. We split the sound and like went to an amp, we went direct in, we went mics on it. We just had all kinds of guitar sounds from one take.
Yeah.
So we blended that, and then I doubled the guitars with acoustics, most of them, and then that's mostly it. And then we got a percussionist. I actually wasn't there for that. Matt and Bronson at the time got a percussionist in there. They tracked that. But that's it. So it's like
Awesome.
floor
Very cool.
stomping, floor stomping electric guitar with vocals. We did add some harmonies on some certain songs with percussion stuff going on. No
Right.
drum set, like congas and shakers and like that thing that goes, I forget what it's called.
The little rich wood thing.
Yeah, fish,
Yeah.
or whatever. It looks like a fish.
Yeah.
So we got
Oh man,
it's a real cool rec. I'm real happy with this one. I'm proud of it. Matt Patton's playing was just phenomenal. I mean, I think he was on another level. I've never heard a record where he played like that.
oh wow,
I
cool.
mean, it's just on another level.
Well,
Which
you did pick out the happiest bass player in the world.
Man, I mean, I can't wait for y'all to hear it. Can't wait.
Awesome. Yeah. Is it a release date? Or
Not yet.
okay.
We got it done, and now we're gonna kind of shop it, I think, a little bit. I mean, the original plan was Dialback puts it out on his label, for just puts out the vinyl, and then I would just release the digital maybe at a later date or something, and only have it vinyl only for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still thinking through all that. I mean, I don't really listen to much vinyl myself, so I'm like, well, that sucks for people like me who, want to be able to pull it up and listen to it in their car. We could always put a download card in there or something like that.
Sure.
So, but we're also might shop it to a couple labels just to see, like, if anybody would be interested in it. So, because it's very interesting. Like, it's not. I really like it because I can't think of a record that sounds like.
It does not sound like anything you've done before?
I mean, it sounds like an elaboration of, or an evolution of what I've been doing in the last couple years, to a new point, but it's also got Matt's bass playing and then Matt's production value, like, because we kind of both, I guess, produced it. He added a lot of production and I added a lot of production. So it's just a interesting combination that worked out to me. I think it did.
Dude,
We'll see.
last time I was at Southside, man, I saw your custom guitar deconstructed. Was it ready for that record, for that recording?
No, I did it on my Silvertone.
Dude,
Unfortunately, I'm kind of just back to my Silvertone right now. I just can't ever get away from that guitar, man. I don't know. I'm just so comfortable on it, and it sounds so clean. I really like that sound.
Well, brother, last time I
Uh,
saw you live solo, it was you with your electric, that Silvertone, and you had the Stone
yeah,
Box. Man, you have really honed in on what a Taylor Hollingsworth solo show is, man. That is
yeah. That's just
awesome.
kind of all. That's just kind of all I'm doing right now. I'm not really interested in having a full band. The only band I want to do is the Blips thing. Just so it's just totally different. So
But
yeah,
but you do have a Dead Fingers record in the can.
I do have what?
You do have a Dead Fingers record in the can, right?
Yeah, there's a Dead Fingers record that's been in the can for like 5 years now.
Oh, well, I thought it was something recent that I learned about.
No, I've had that done for a long time.
Wow.
That was done before Tap Dancing Daddy came out.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Might I
yeah,
say on that point, as you mentioned that song, the best version of anything I've ever heard you done was when you're in that cornfield and you did Tap Dancing Daddy.
That was a cool
That
video.
was a very cool video. Your voice was on point, the guitar playing, everything was perfect. I could watch it 100 times.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I'll have to check it out. I kind of
And
forgot.
last time you played over here, man, I had a buddy of mine who was at the show the next day, and you probably saw the numbers if you look, but he kept sending me YouTube videos of like everywhere you've been, and like that was the first one that he sent was you in the cornfield doing Tap Dancing Daddy. He's like, "Have you seen this?" I was like, "Brother, there ain't too much of his. You can't show me that I probably haven't seen." I was like,
Yeah.
I've been a fan for a while now. Man, it seems like Bronson and Matt have really got it going on with equipment and everything they're bringing in the Dialback. Man, what was it like working off some of that equipment?
Well, I mean, I've been working in that studio for like, I don't like 15 years or something. So it just feels like home. Like that's just the studio to me. That feels like home if I'm not at my house. But yeah, I mean, like I helped carry in that board that they have in there. He got that board was brought in by Bruce Watson, and I was there the day he got it, and I helped him carry it in, load it in, and all that. A lot of that rack gear. Now Matt has definitely acquired some new rack gear over there, and I mean he's got some. I mean he's got all you need to make a real badass record. I mean he's got it. I think I love that studio. I just think the layout of it's cool. The sound's cool. He's got a real spring reverb, the full big gigantic one, takes up the whole wall in the apartment, in the little band apartment. So we were running. We would do big gang group vocals like harmony things and run them all through that old spring, so it
Yeah.
sounds just like that old shit, like in the 50s.
Hell yeah,
I
dude.
love 50s music. Like that's some of my favorite music of all time.
do you think that inspires like some of the directions you take with your personal music?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Right on,
Oh
dude.
yeah, man.
Well,
I got a golden oldies playlist that'll blow your mind, man. It's got some good shit on there.
That's kind of interesting to me. I guess I can hear it in your music, but and like I got your stickers and stuff. It's like folk and roll, but I hear so much blues influence in your music.
Yeah.
A
Well,
lot
yeah,
of blues. What's
yeah.
that?
I definitely went. I mean, I've listened to a lot of blues too.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing. Like I told my wife, I said folk and roll. I was like folk and roll blues, or whatever, rock and folk, or whatever you said, and blues.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, figure out a way to incorporate that, because I was trying to think, because I got a good friend who runs the um, Black Prairie Blues Museum in West Point, Mississippi, and I was like, Taylor would be perfect to play there, just because
Yeah.
I hear all that blues in your stuff.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I would definitely call it folk blues or something. Uh, like, I mean, the blues guys, like especially the one man show guys, that's what inspired me to do that.
Yeah.
And I always have known that that's what I was going to end up doing. Always, for 20 years I've known that. I've been just trying to work my way up to being good enough.
Yeah.
Because I just, like, if you do it, I want it to be great. I don't want to just, like, be the same as everything else.
right on.
You know what I mean? I want to be like, I got my own sound. Like you
Definitely
can
do.
book it. Yeah, you can book it. It's a show. It's a different act than you're gonna normally see.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What about the visual arts, man? Have you I know you said before we got going that you've been
Hmm.
pretty busy to where you ain't really had a lot of time with it, but have you got any art shows or anything coming up?
Um, nah, I don't think I have any art shows coming up. I have not really been working hard at that. I just right now I'm trying to rebuild uh my stock, you know, but it's just coming kind of slow. But on a good note, I have stumbled into some new stuff I'm doing that I really love. It's my favorite stuff that I've done. So I do have a new thing that's really cool that I'm excited about, but I haven't. It's a little bit. They take a little bit longer. You've probably seen. I mean, I've shared a couple photos. They're like these buildings. And
Yeah.
I use a lot of like little Lego people, and like each little room is different, so I got to think about what it's going to be, and then, come up with the parts, figure out how to make it, whatever it is. But it's a lot of fun. I really like have fun doing it. And, I want to like start doing some like really like large scale versions with tons of those tiny windows, just
Yeah.
like full cities or something, where there's this wind, but so that's obviously going to take a long time. The problem is I've never reached a price bracket where people pay enough for my art for it to probably be worth the time that I'm going to have to put in. But whatever, whatever. I've never looked at it that way first, so I might as well just do it first.
Well, man, I was listening to a friend of mine down in Mobile today talking about folk art, and she was talking about when it comes to Abe's art, he puts tar on canvas, and then she was giving examples of other folk artists, and your art came to mind about how they're not stretching their own canvas, and they may not even technically be using canvas, but they're using the things they have at hand to create the art the way that they perceive the world. And I thought that was an excellent way to describe the way that you do your art, man. It's like true folk artist, man.
Yeah, to me, that's the difference between artist and craftsman. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's the
you're
difference.
right.
You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
I've not,
there is a difference in the two words, and an artist can get very good at a craft and still be an artist. But a lot of times you can be a very good at a craft, but it doesn't necessarily make you an artist. You know what I mean?
you're right. Yeah. Yeah. And I've noticed too, your work has become a lot more refined.
Yeah.
You, not that you're paying more attention to it, but maybe your talent at it is growing. Not that it, I
Yeah.
mean, because I got some of your early stuff, and then I've got the thing that you did for my wife and I for our wedding that everybody comments on when they walk in. Like, and Jamie Nettles, who owns some of your stuff, she walked in here the other day and she was like, "Oh my God, that is the best thing I've ever seen him do." You know, so there's a
Really?
definite difference between like when you came to do a show at the Columbus Arts Council and now. There's
Yeah.
definitely a big growth there, and it's a good looking growth.
Thanks, man. I'm glad you like it. Glad you like it. Yeah, you know, it just evolves, I guess. I mean, uh, you know, and part of that is like deciding, you know, because I mean, I've totally just been teaching myself as I go. So, I mean, a lot of it's just learning what looks good, and you know, like sometimes you can get into something while you're doing it, and while you're inside of it, you think it looks great, or it sounds, you know, musically this happens too, or it sounds great, or uh, you know, you're just so lost in it. But you know, there's another sort of, I guess, I don't know if what you would call it, but you know, it's a, I don't, maybe it's just another sort of talent you develop after a while of being able to step outside of that and looking at it from a critical eye that's not your own eye. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And over time, you know, I kept looking at my stuff and not being fully happy with the paints I was using, or the way that they shined, or whatever, or the way that they stood, you know. So like a lot of what you're talking about is like, I've learned what paints I like, you know, and I've learned to use nicer quality ones, and I've learned where to get certain paints for affordable prices that I can still afford. You know, I mean, if you go into just a normal art shop, you're going to be broke. I mean, I don't know how any artist ever, unless you're selling them for crazy amounts of money, you know, like I don't know how any of them go into an art store and buy a bunch of canvas and buy a bunch of those nice paints. I mean, you have to be rich, you know, you have to
Yeah.
be rich.
Yeah, man.
You know, so I use wood that Elliot McPherson hooks me up with, and then I go to Home Depot and I mix paints with house paints and shit. You know what I mean? Because I've learned that they look great. Like they have
Yeah.
great pigment, and I can get really cool colors with them. And I made my own like paint chart. Like I did, like, you know, I would do like 2 drops of this with 1 drop of this, and then mix it. And I do little dots, and I labeled them. They're hanging up on my wall, so I can look how many portions of one versus the other to mix different colors, and I do that, you know.
And
Wow.
So
and
I
that's
don't have to buy so many, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something else, man, is like looking at art. There are some colors that are hard to get away with. And like I can tell that by what you're doing and kind of mixing and matching. Like orange is a really hard color to work with. Some shades of green is hard to get away with. And so like man, that experiment is going great, dude.
And I
Shout out to
love
you.
those colors. I love bright colors that pop out, you know.
Yeah, man. I wanted to ask you this, man. I was recently talking to Abe, and I just wanted to see your thoughts on this, if you agree with it or what you would spin on it. Is that an artist is in need of constant tragedy to continue to make great art? What do you think about that?
Oh, I don't know. No, I hope not, because I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, and I feel like I'm at the top of my game. So I don't agree with that. Probably, I've
Right.
got plenty of tragedy in my past, though, man. So
Yeah.
maybe I just got enough stored up.
Yeah, that Abe said he was like, You know, I probably agree with that. He's like, but I ain't wishing for no more, brother.
Yeah,
I've had
exactly.
enough.
Me too. Yeah. I prefer living my happy family life I got going and keeping my gig going, doing what I got going. You know, I've never been happier.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it because I made the comment to somebody one time before we're talking about going to see or something in Tuscaloosa, and I said there are a few people that you meet in life that every time you see them, they're the same exact person, they're in the same exact mood as they were the last time you saw them, and that's always been you. It's the same Taylor Hollingsworth every time. I may look a little pissed off because I had to sit in the car for an hour to come to Tuscaloosa or whatever, or I had a bad day with my back or my legs or something. But Taylor Hollingsworth is always the same person every time you see him, just even keel, smiling, you know.
Well, I'm glad that that's how it comes across.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if
I
you're if
feel
you're
like
fighting underneath or whatever, but
no, I'm not fighting, but I'm always lost in thought somehow. I'm
Yeah.
always trying to not be lost in thought.
Well,
I'm
one
trying to
one
focus.
one cool thing is that I guess you don't let your busy schedule overwork you, or at least it doesn't appear like that on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, I schedule my time to not be busy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm very like I really actually really like routine, and I like my calendar to be like full completely, but like I add in my family time. Like I take the family time and the rest time very seriously. So like you know there's you know there's always something going on, or always someone that would want to meet up. Finally, I think now everybody just knows. Don't even ask him, because you know he's probably not going to do it unless it's like a night off of a normal gig night or something. But you know, my weekday routine with the family is like that's what keeps me sane. If I didn't have that, I think I would go crazy.
Well,
So I
brother,
mean, I get up at 7 every day and take Ava to school, and then I pick her up a couple days a week, and her grandmom picks her up the other 3 days a week, and then we've got and then I'll either Kate will pick her up on the way home from there, or I will if Kate has to work late. Kate has to work all the time.
yeah.
She's got real crazy work schedule. I don't know how she does that.
Well, brother, I've got about three questions. I don't know about you, Mark, but
I'm good. I'll
I got about three more. Taylor, thank you so much for your time.
Thank y'all.
Question one, brother, is who are you listening to right now? What are you into?
Oh man.
What was playing on the
Uh,
car before you got on with us?
Before I got on the phone, let me think for a second. What have I been listening to? I might have to go poop and look at my Spotify history.
Uh-oh.
Uh, I've been back into Paul Simon. I can tell you that.
Okay.
I've been really back heavily into There's like the one compilation. I guess it was the greatest hits at the time. Called Negotiations and Love Songs. And that's the one that my dad played when I was a kid. I remember it really well. So it's also kind of, sentimental or whatever, like fond memories I have listening to that. So that's part of why I love it. But I've been really like kind of studying it again lately. Like there's just some incredible musicians going on and that stuff. But then also, man, I mean, I feel like there's some new people I've been listening to, but I can't think of who they are. I'm so bad with names.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always listening to Elizabeth Cotton, and I'm always listening to who else? Let's see. maybe like Earl Hooker, for for blues and stuff. I've been listening to. Yeah, man, I know there's something I'm not thinking of.
Well, last night we talked about it amongst ourselves with Ham, and I brought up my favorite record of 2023, which is Nothing For Me Please by Dean Johnson. I just sent you the link.
Oh, cool.
So you can check it out and let me know what you think.
Yeah, it's by who?
Dean Johnson.
Oh, okay. I never heard of him.
Very cool, very high pitched voice. Not what you expect coming out of him because he got the big David Crosby mustache, coming down, and he's got this very high pitched voice. But it just everything about that record, just like it calms me down. Let's do it first thing every morning when I go out on the back porch, screen-in porch, and have a cup of coffee, and I put that on every morning. Good stuff.
Nice.
So I want you to check it out.
Nice. Oh man, I do remember you turned me on to that Waxahachie record, and I loved that.
Yeah, that was good
That
stuff.
last one.
Oh, the St. Cloud.
Yeah.
That is the best. That was the best record of the year. My goodness, I
Yeah,
love
that
that
was-
record. And every time
Yeah.
it comes on, I get into a mood that I don't get into unless with any other record. It's so
Man.
cool.
Yeah, I love that. That was classic. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I wish I could think of this other stuff. I mean, I definitely been listening to some other stuff, but I've also been listening to so many of my own mixes. We've been trying to finish this record, so oh man, I get so tired of listening to my songs and my mixes. Yeah, by the time the record's done, I never listen to them again. I hate them.
Done wore it out. Oh man, I've
Oh.
been recently seeing you getting out on the road a little bit more, such as Montgomery,
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga. Oh yeah, with Shaking the Caveman.
Yeah. Yeah, I did Chattanooga, I did Asheville, and I did my friend's house in Atlanta or in Decatur, Atlanta. And then I've been doing Montgomery regularly. I've been doing Huntsville now. And I've been doing Clarksdale
Cool.
regularly.
You play
Or
the
coming
Shack
up regularly. I got several booked in the next several months at the Shack Up Inn.
Yeah.
Which I love that place.
That is an awesome place, man. I went and spent the weekend there by
That's
myself.
probably my favorite place to play. I just think that place is so cool,
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, man, I've really enjoyed seeing you getting out. Like, I know you got I got the T-shirt of the Taylor Hollingsworth circuit in Birmingham, but I know it's got to be good to get out of the circuit every now and again.
Yeah, I mean, my plan is to just like slowly branch out, like while Ava grows up, and then when she's finally done with me, then I'm gonna start like, all right, I'm ready to tour. Like I'll be older and I'll be ready to rock. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But like, she's already getting to where now I barely see her sometimes on the weekends. She spends the night. She goes home with a friend from school on Friday, and then she has an event Saturday, and then between me going to a gig or her spending the night with always being with her friends, yeah, I'm already like, all right, well, I'm gonna start every once in a while.
Yeah.
Doing some little weekend runs,
How old is she now?
She just turned 11 yesterday.
Wow. Because I remember the first time I met you, she was on your shoulders. That's Lost Furnaces for the Birmingham Get Up. That was a while back.
Okay.
Yeah, Dead Finger Show. Because I emceed it. And that's the first time, like I remember telling Bo, I was like, "Oh, Taylor Hollingsworth, you got to introduce me to him. I dig his music." So
I guess I do now. Yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah. We played on that cool stage inside the thing. Like,
yeah. Where I saw live there, and it was one of the best because I've seen those guys like 7 times now, and it's one of the best shows I've seen of theirs. They play with Dishwalla in that little area where it dips down.
Like back in the day or something, or recently?
Yeah, man, it was right after 9/11 because the song "Overcome" was huge because of 9/11.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I know.
Well, I got my last question, Taylor, and it's going to be for both of y'all. Is what was your favorite part of what was your favorite part of this conversation?
Talking with Taylor
Seeing Monk
Hollingsworth. Do what?
I said seeing Monk looking healthy and happy.
Jinx.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
on, dude.
Yes, I mean, anytime we can have Taylor. I mean, we've not given the 3rd seat away to anybody but Taylor. So, I mean, whenever we can have you on the show, man, and I mean, it's just like the chemistry with all of us is there.
Hey, the Zoom, I can do the Zoom anytime now.
Yeah.
That's
Right on. We got a
Zoom's
third
great.
man.
That's easy.
There we go.
I want to start playing over there in Columbus. Y'all need to find me a spot to play.
I'm gonna get Jamie Nettles to reach out to you and get you back over here to
Yeah.
Sunstroke House.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I mean your friend at the bar that we played at too, he hit me up a couple times, but he just didn't quite have the budget for it really to be worth. I mean, it was like a Friday. By the time I drive, like the money I made would have only paid for gas. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Friday's like my main money making. You know, like
Yeah.
yeah, I can't give up like a Friday to make nothing really. You know,
Right on.
I have to make a certain amount every month. So, you know, I'm grinding and shit. So, but you know, it doesn't take that much, but yeah, I'm getting way more here in town, and I'm not spending anything on gas. So,
Right on.
you know, but
Taylor,
you know, I just got to find me a spot.
I got you. Well, I guess one more. You want to plug the socials if people would like to follow and keep up with what you're doing and the Blips and your projects?
Yeah, mine is Tap Dancing Daddy, no G, dancing. Tap Dancing Daddy on I think on everything now. I think I've gotten them all to just swap to that. And then the Blips is We Are the Blips on Instagram, and I don't know what it is on the other stuff. But I'm sure if you just type in Blips, it'll pop right up.
Well, right on, man.
You know, these days you can just Google whatever. You got all the options; they come right up to you.
That's right.
So,
Well, Taylor, thank you so much for your time, brother. And well, now that we know you're down for the Zoom, I guess we'll plan. We'll plan on
A
you
lot
being
more of them, man.
Yeah.
yeah, let's do some more. I love talking to y'all. Love you, boys. Monk, I love you, man. I've been
Love you too,
thinking
brother.
about you. I'm glad
Thank
you're
you.
doing well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
See you soon, please.
All right.
Sometime.
I hope so. Alan, love you too, man. Thanks for having me.
Love you, bub.
All right, man. Bye, y'all.
Bye.